The X-Men reboot is currently in development, and we even know who the director is, as it was recently confirmed. So now we hear some details in regards to the size, scope, and complexity of the X-Men universe, and what you really need to do to be able to deliver the X-Men. Now, of course, those that have read X-Men comics know that there is a whole universe of X-Men within the X-Men, so let's talk about it. So if you've been reading X-Men to any extent, you know that whenever there's a giant event or anything like that going on, X-Men tend to not be involved with many of them. Or if they are, it's like one version of the team or a couple members, while the other ones are off doing whatever they're doing. And it's typically because the X-Men have so many characters and so many storylines that they don't typically get involved, and a lot of people continue to say the X-Men just exist in their own little bubble corner that doesn't get affected by things that affect, like, the Avengers, for example, or Iron Man and things like that. And when they need to, they cross over, and then we go to the next step, right? This seems to be something that the director of X-Men, Jake Schreier, understands. He says that he can't reveal too much, but without getting too deep into it, he says that there's a lot of interesting and complex material for the X-Men, their rich history, and how they exist in the Marvel Universe. And he says that the core idea of X-Men involves the complexity of this. And then he says that there's so many super rich characters and stories and internal and external conflicts in the Marvel Universe that affect or don't necessarily affect them directly, that it's going to be inherently interesting to explore all of this and to stay true to what they're doing. And then he says that at the core of the X-Men, the complexity of all this is behind that. And he wants to tap into that, this complex world, the characters, the views of the X-Men, and how they're perceived. So again, I think what he's saying here is like Thunderbolts and how they tackle some issues in that, especially with mental health. I think he's saying they're directly going to tackle who the X-Men are. Again, they're in their own little corner of the Marvel Universe that exists in the Marvel Universe, and they got their own problems going on that don't necessarily get affected by the others and don't affect the others. Like, there's no reason for a Sentinel to attack Captain America or Iron Man. But if spots a mutant, it will destroy a building to apprehend them, you know? So they're going to have to tackle that prejudice and all that, while also understanding that this is now in the Marvel Universe, and we need to tackle this. We need to approach it with a certain degree, that this takes place in the X-Men universe and the Marvel universe, but also it needs to have ramifications on everything. Unlike some X-Men comics where you see Times Square being stormed by Sentinels, and it's never addressed by anybody but the X-Men. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will, and if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.